chilly day to our warm-ish greenhouse. So this is 1 Million Cups. Thank you guys for coming. How many of you are here for the first time today? Never been to 1 Million Cups? Nice, welcome. I hope you guys will like it. I have a strong suspicion you will. Every week we have 2 entrepreneurs from the community that come up here and tell you guys, the audience, about what they're building, what they're creating, all about their companies and how they're growing. They have 6 minutes to do that in. Then there's 20 minutes of Q&A and feedback from you guys in the audience. It's an opportunity to ask questions about what they're doing, learn more, seek clarification on points, but also make suggestions. Think through the people you know, your mental Rolodexes, to come up with the connections to help these businesses grow. That is our unspoken contract, and in return for all of that, Cow Coffee has generously provided the coffee this morning, which hopefully you're all enjoying. We thank them and hope you purchase their products when it's not a Wednesday morning. My name is Sean. I'm an organizer here along with Chris. We have 2 absences in Danielle and Marianne today, and a more important absence in Carly, who actually makes everything run. So any decline in quality this week, it's her fault. Be sure to blame her when she gets back. Just kidding, Carly. If you're not getting our weekly newsletters and emails about the companies that present here and events going on in the community, please sign up. There are sign-in sheets right by the door there. It's really only the 2 emails a week, all about this, no spam. We don't sell that. We haven't found a good buyer for that yet, so you're good on that. But I want to bring up Pat first, our first presenter, PikMyKid. Pat has presented here before and has seen a ton of success. So Pat, tell us where you're from.
Hi everyone, my name is Pat Bala, founder of a company called PikMyKid. Well, before I get into that, I just want to give you a brief background. So I was a fighter pilot and a deep sea diver in the Navy. And then I called Tampa Bay home about 10 years ago. And I built and sold about 3 different companies in different times. And as I sold my last company, I told my wife, I'm going to take a year off and do nothing. Well, it didn't last long. 2 weeks later, my wife was like, the least you could do. I mean, I wanted to do this. And next thing I know, I was sitting in the car line trying to pick up my daughter. And so that's what, my wife was like, the least you can do, go pick up your daughter from school. And that was crazy. That was the first time I went to a car line in school. And it drove me nuts. It was prime Netflix time for me, and I'm sitting here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I said, there's got to be a better way. But I was like these millions of parents who are going through car lines and did nothing about it, just complained. Until this one day, I was going through the car line. They put a kid in the car. As I was driving out, I turned around and I'm looking at this white kid sitting in the back of my car. That's when it hit me that, you know what, the system is broken. I looked around to blame somebody for it, but what I realized is the teachers don't have the tools to make this call every single day. They are braving the sun, rain, heat, running around with walkie-talkies and clipboards, and traffic piled up, road rage at its peak, and they don't have the right tools to manage the whole process. And I did a little bit of a back-of-the-envelope calculation, and I realized the current system is inefficient, it's unsafe, and it's pretty expensive because they throw a ton of features at the problem and hope like hell they solve it. What we at PikMyKid do are 3 things. We make it smarter for our parents to be able to manage the whole process from their cell phone. We make it safer for our children, and also cheaper for our school districts. So all 3 stakeholders in the system stand to benefit by an organized system like PikMyKid. How we do it? Well, there are 3 aspects of PikMyKid, if you will. On the extreme right, on the left, what you see is a phone application which the parent downloads for free, and then they can see their children, they can manage their children, change their dismissal times, pick up duties, delegate to somebody else to pick up. All this thing is done by their cell phone. On the center, for the first time, the school administrators have a bird's eye view, a dashboard of the entire dismissal process. They know at every minute which child is in which bus, which child has got on which car at what time, and who's left over, who's going to an after-school program. So they don't have to run around, call teachers, check in clipboards and all those things in a dashboard format. And what you see on the extreme right here, this kind of replaces the clipboard in the teacher's hand when they're standing in the front of the dismissal line. So they're able to do, this is smart board. So they're able to swipe children off as they're getting in cars and buses. So that triggers an alert back to the parent instantaneously that their child is on a bus or a car. So it creates kind of a 360-degree accountability. Little snapshot of how a parent phone would look like. When I download my free app in the school, only my children would appear on my phone, and then I can actually change the pickup mode or delegate to somebody else, or allot them to an after-school program through a calendarized manner, pretty easily without ever having to call the school. And the coolest part about it is we are also able to, since every parent in the school downloads an app, we are able to push real-time push notification to parents for any kind of emergency, either dismissal or otherwise. Say little Johnny needs to get his football shoes for tomorrow, you'll get a message only if you're little Johnny's dad or mom, not for the whole school. So we're able to segment the whole messaging process. How it works in a school, when a school comes on board, we set a geo-fence, and every time a parent with a registered phone enters within the geo-fence, there's an automatic digital handshake in the back end. And then the parent's position is leniently displayed for school to see exactly who's in the row, who's in the car line, and whom they're there to pick up for that day. So all the chaos of walkie-talkies, kids running around, everything happens seamlessly in the background, and kids are much safer. As soon as the kids are getting into cars or buses, the teacher with the iPad, they swipe them off, and it triggers an alert back to the parent. Think about when a child is walking home today, and as soon as they step out of the campus, I get an alert. My kid has just left the school. In 12 minutes, I should be expecting him to coming home. If not, I better be involved in the process and find out where my child is, rather than calling the school 2 hours later, asking where my child went. So keeping parents proactive, reducing the liability, and keeping the kids safer. Again, for the first time, a dashboard. These are the tools we're competing against. Walkie-talkies, clipboards, sticky notes, loudhailers, card tags. 99.5% of the schools today use those tools. In the last few years, we've been lucky to get a lot of attention, but what we're really proud about is the kind of testimonials we get from parents and teachers across the country. I won't go into what is the most critical component which we learned is that we have 85% or higher parent adoption in every school we go into. Let me put that in perspective. In the history of K-12, there's been not a single platform which has involved more than 20% of the parents on the same platform. So we're becoming a de facto platform, or communication platform, through which schools are able to interact with parents. And we got there without trying to get there. So that is being really powerful for us as we go forward. We're becoming a platform, and I'll take any questions. Yes, sir.
How many schools are you in right now?
So we are in about 20 states now, and with 20 states in 3 countries with over 100,000 users and about 120 schools as of today. And we're growing at about 25 schools a month. But our go-to-market strategy is we're going to schools who are willing to adopt us, rather than going to schools and telling the benefits of PikMyKid. So it's an inbound kind of a flow.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Hi, cybersecurity is on everybody's mind,
Sure.
and the child loses their cell phone. What protections are you developing?
Absolutely. Great question. And that is one of the things which, when we started, we said we will have no reliance on hardware whatsoever. The child does not have to have any RFID phones. There's no trackable device in the kid. We don't even track the kids. We don't even use the word track. So the adults are responsible. The parent's phone is being tracked the moment they get on the geofence. So we know everybody who's on the campus. And the teachers are responsible for physically putting children and moving them around. So the kids, per se, they can be kids. They don't have any hardware, no reliance on any kind of, so that we don't even do any biometrics, we don't even capture photographs of children. The less of the data we have, the more secure we can be. Yes, sir.
How are you monetizing it, and what is the cost to the school?
Sure. So the way when we started, we wanted to ask parents to pay for download. It backfired. We pivoted. So now our monetizing plan right now is what we're doing right now is we charge the school on a per year basis. So it's about $3,000 per school per year. It comes to less than 40 cents a child per day per month.
And how else do you monetize it with?
Sorry.
How else do you monetize the site?
How we do?
How else do you
How
monetize
else?
the site?
Beside that,
Yes.
so right now that's our only source of monetization. But if you go back, so we've just started a platform strategy wherein we have these are different applications with the standalone benefits. They come on our platform because of our saturation in the parent community, and we are taking a cut of each one of them. And also last year we ran a survey to all our schools on our system. What else would they like to see on our platform? Overwhelming response was they would like to see a payment gateway on our platform, so the parents are able to pay their lunch money, their PTA fees, day trip, all those things. So next year that's going to roll out. At a million ways to skin the cat, right? We just want to focus on market expansion.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Why would the school want to spend $3,000 on this? What's their motivation?
Great question. So if you ever be in that call line at 2:30, so it's not just a vitamin, it's almost a painkiller for them, the product. You understand the difference between vitamin, aspirin, and painkiller? Products fall in different categories. One is nice to have, and the other end of the extreme is I need it. So the reason is at 2:30 when the bell rings, you go to school, it's absolute chaos. Kids getting into cars, buses, they don't have any tools to manage it. And then you expect teachers to spend 30 to 45 minutes a day on an average managing the chaos when they should be in the class prepping for the next day's school. So in terms of liability, kid safety, and knowing exactly where the child went, there's so many benefits. I mean, I can go on, but it's a lot. Yes.
So I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a few years and seeing the progress of the company in your last 1 Million Cups presentation. First of all, the quality of the presentation, awesome. Very improved. But as we've talked about your company over the years, it seems like you're kind of battling two separate challenges. You've got the actual IT technical challenge of building, you're really three different apps. You've got a parent one, an administrator one, and for one to pick up. But same thing, you're trying to solve a problem that is complicated and that sucks, right? It reminds me of let's just solve healthcare. Okay, let's just solve picking up kids from a chaotic school situation, right? So you're kind of battling the technology side and the logistics of actually making this work.
Yeah.
What were a couple of those aha moments where it's oh wait, if we change the way this works, it's actually that much more efficient? Or what things are you still struggling with? Explain that whole problem space.
Yeah, fantastic. I started solving it because I was stuck in call lines. That's where we started. But as we started moving down the path, there's so many connecting issues which we start solving over and over again. And one of the biggest thing what we realized is it kind of resulted in a partnership with FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, and T-BARTA. What we do with them right now, we did a press release last month, and they are coming and embracing us in a very big way. What they're really worried about is today every school they plan their infrastructure around peak capacities, which is at 2:30 when the bell rings and there are 100 cars, 200 cars lined outside the car. They got to have their plans in place, where they put an extra turn lane, put a signal, put a cop in the corner. We don't have to do that. With our app, what we do is we do predictive condition planning. Our algorithm, we're crunching thousands of routing information on our system, so we can tell a parent, please don't leave your house at 2:36. You may want to leave at 2:37 or 2:42. So you spend the least amount of time in the car. Our system is able to tell the parent. Also, we're able to intelligently tell parents, hey, have you talked to Johnny down the street? He takes the same route and picks up the kid from the same car. You may want to carpool with him. So they can do it through so not only are we mitigating the peak traffic, but we're physically taking cars off the road at peak times. So it saves millions of dollars for the Florida Department of Transportation because they don't have to plan for the peak traffic. So these are like collateral benefits as we go down. I talked about the platform strategy where, so let me talk about this zip slip. It's a fantastic application. They're in thousands of schools and internationally as well. They solve digitized signature slips, right? If a parent has to sign off something, teachers can send a digital slip. But what the biggest challenge they had was they didn't have parents adoption, because it is not a compelling value proposition for me as a parent to download an app on my phone just to sign off a little piece of paper. So they came to us and they said, hey, 85 to 90% of parents already are using a platform. Can we sit inside your platform so the parents can sign off the sheet? Yeah, payers are cut. So these are other problems we're solving as we go along, and we haven't scratched the surface yet. Yes.
Would you consider driverless vehicles a threat or an opportunity for your business?
Driverless, it is an opportunity. To give you a little bit on a side note, Uber did reach out to us. They wanted to be the fourth option in the parent platform. Here, use Uber to pick up your child. But that was a red flag for us, in the sense that we won't sell an additional school just because Uber is on a platform. So when schools adopt driverless technology, maybe we can use them to a certain extent, but I don't necessarily see them as a threat. But we won't have them on a platform unless it's accepted by the school system. Does that answer the question?
A little bit, yeah.
So we are now 14 people based right here. So we put things in perspective. August of 2015, that is 18 months ago, we signed our first paid customer. It was a private school in Florida, in Tampa. And then end of 2015 we had 11 customers. End of 2016 we had 60 customers. Now we have 120. So now we're doing about 25 schools a month. So by end of this year, we hope to have 400 schools.
And what's that translating to?
Right now we have 100,000 users. We hope to close this year with 400,000 users.
Does your privacy policy allow you to use that data for purposes?
Yes. And we have a self-mandated that we will not use the parent information for anything else. And we've been approached by pretty big companies to tap into the K-12 demographic parent connection to do all e-commerce. So we stay away from that. We want to stay away from that. But we lose that core of what we do. Yeah, trust. Yes, sir.
So two quick questions. One is, do you have any competitors? And two, is there any sort of legal or liability issues with basically asking people while they're in traffic to be looking and using
Sure.
phones?
Great questions. First is, no. We are the first and only comprehensive school dismissal system. Our biggest competitor is tropophobia, fear of change. People don't want to change. Second, because of that, looking at phone during the call line, we have a system where we have the only hardware we ship to schools when they sign up is a stop sign. So anytime they want to use the phone, they stop, announce, move forward. They don't have any business using the phone while doing it. So that gives a disclaimer right there. Yes, sir.
You had something on there that said the bus system. What's the utilization of the bus system?
Sure, awesome question. So here's the thing about buses. Today, in today's day and age, we as parents don't have the ability to see or live track when my child got on a bus. That's ridiculous. We deserve better, right? Because school districts have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars putting live trackers in every school bus today. But the problem is they don't know how to syndicate that information down to the parent who needs to be bothered or who needs to have access to that information. So that segmentation was missing. So what our platform is doing now is taking that APA level information from transportation companies and pushing it down to parent. As my child is boarded on bus number 45, in my phone I can track bus number 45 down to the bus stop where it needs to come. So that's under development right now, that's last piece, but that's the future, and parents would have the ability to track their children.
I was actually here for your original presentation, and you've come an awful long way in a period of time, so congratulations on that. I'm curious about the sales process.
Sure.
It looks to me like you have to convince the school, the teachers, the parents that this is a useful thing. How does that all work?
Sure. So we went through that learning curve, and what we realized is the only person we really need to convince is the guy who decides to buy the product. PTAs, they get excited, right? But they have no power over the purchasing. Teachers, they love it. We get a standing ovation whenever we present in front of a room of teachers. But we realize, they don't have the buying power either. The only people who really make the purchasing decision are the SUPs and the principals, the superintendents and the principals. And for them, the value proposition is a completely different subset than what it is for teachers or parents. So we talk to them in a different way, wherein safety of children is paramount. Today, with changing threat perceptions, all it takes is one child being put in the wrong car one day of the school year for somebody's neck to grow. So we prevent that from happening. So that's a big, big thing for the thought leaders. So we sell to the thought leaders who want to adapt, change, and who are willing to, get into using technology for tomorrow's threats rather than looking in the rear view mirror. Does that answer your question?
With the bus, when you try to hear what the bus is late.
Yeah, we can do that. So if the bus is late today, or if the bus gets a flat tire, the transportation department calls the school, and the school puts 10 teachers on the phone bank. They pull out those old drawers, take out those cards with phone numbers, and call parents. Today in our system, they pull out bus number 45, message, send, 10 minutes late. Only parents with kids on the bus number 45 will get a message that the bus is running. And if you go to, so one of those, this is Denver Language School last year had a snowstorm, 2 buses met an accident, and they thanked us the next day that, hey, because of the real time, we were able to do all that stuff.
With the 85% adoption, what wrenches do those 15% throw in the works when I show up in line without the app because I do that?
So the app is able to accommodate those people, the non-compliant parents, through a manual interjection, but the school has the ability to crack the whip, so to speak. So in a sense that some schools put their foot down and say, hey, if you don't have the app, you have no business being in the car lane because you're slowing others down. You want to park up front, go to the front desk, show your ID card, and pick up your child. But some schools are more accommodative. They put a teacher right in the front of the line, and anybody, if a grandma shows up and she doesn't have the app, they're able to include her through a code number into the linear sequence. And so it depends on school's policy, how they want to do that. But the system is robust enough to cater to both ways.
Do you have any metrics both on increased throughput through the car line as well as eliminating those circumstances where the kid gets in the wrong bus or car?
So not that exact scenario because that would entail, before-after studies, which is now being carried out by University of Tampa. But a couple of years ago, University of South Florida did a study on the efficacy of the product, on the time saving by the teachers. And they came up with $47,000 saved per school per year by using a product like ours, just on the teacher's time being saved. Just that tangible. There are other intangibles of student safety, security, parent satisfaction. That was not considered. Just the teacher's time amounted to about $47,000. This one.
How do schools hear about your product?
If you search for school dismissal solution on a search, we will come on the first page in at least 4 different ways. Our content, our paid, our organic search. So we worked a lot on SEO, so 95% of our inbound traffic comes through organic searches. 5% comes through word of mouth and paid searches.
Sorry, cheating on 2 questions here, but I would imagine that there's still a percentage, as you said, that take the bus or don't take the car line, and then outside of even schools that might not have that car line problem, they still have a communication problem with getting a hold of parents, emergency notifications, all that. You obviously don't want to stray too much from your strategy of picking up the kids, but have you thought about, is there a way to have, a low cost or free component where it's, hey, install the app and you can receive a push notification or something to get the parents already in this platform using it, and then that way when you go to sell it to the school, you can say, hey, you already have 40% of your parents already using this app for notifications, just some other complementary strategy.
So I'll give you this interesting anecdote. A year ago, a school from Mexico reached out to us and they said they love our product. After seeing a demo, they want to buy it. So obviously the question, we go through a questionnaire. So we said, so you have a car line problem? We said, no, we have number plate scanners and all those things. I'm like, okay, so do you have a walker dismissal problem? They're like, no, we have thumbprint scanners, we have retina scanners, we have, it's a really high tech, high-end school in Mexico. And said, so what's your problem? Why are you buying us, right? And they said, we love your emergency notification feature. So they bought us just for the notification feature. And now we are fully installed and they love us. And but to different value propositions for different schools. And they really like the notification feature, which is in itself pretty robust and value added for schools. Since we give it away for free, people who buy it for car line don't really pay much attention to that, but that in itself is a pretty valuable feature.
So, Pat, two questions. I think you'll guess what the second question is. But how are you're going to go from 100,000 to 400,000 customers in the next year, right? How do you see this playing out beyond that? How many schools need what is the market? Since you're the only solution, are all schools eventually going to be using this?
I get so excited about these questions. It is so compelling. I wish I had an hour more, but I'll be quick with it. So there are 140,000 schools just in the US. We already have requests from internationally. Our product is geo-agnostic. Our product is hardware agnostic. We can set up a school in Honolulu in 24 hours and be up and running from a team here. In terms of support, when a school is set up, we have less than 7 customer support requests per 100 download. So if a school is coming online, on the first week we will have, depending on the strength of the school, 7 to 70 customer support requests, and thereafter it just dies. We have 0 customer service requests after the first 4 weeks, and so that's why we're being so efficient. So we can scale. We have 12 people by end of this year. We should have about 16 or 17, but we should be able to support at least 1 million people by then, because we invested heavily on sustainability, on scaling and efficiency, and really tuning the system. And as we go, we'll keep tuning it, but does it answer the question?
It does.
So
That's incredible. So that leads to my next question. How can we help you get to 1 million users and beyond that?
So one of the most embarrassing are I designed this for my daughter's school, right? My daughter goes to Pinellas, Hillsborough County, and my co-founder at that time was, his kids went to Pinellas. And one of the questions I get asked by these school districts all across the country come, so is your home district using it? And I'm like, no. So it's been incredibly difficult to reach out to the district. We were giving it away free to them initially when we started. We're not going to give it free anymore. But I would love for our local districts to come in and adopt local technologies and bridge that. That's my wish. So anybody has any connections in the local district, local schools, private, charter, we'll give it next to nothing. We just want the local people on board. So. Thank you.